Right, hello everyone, welcome to the Inibuilds MSFS making our approach from Shanghai Pudong International Airport to Hong Kong Kai Tak with Cafe 22 Lima, which is an MSFS that we're flying. Just descending now on the approach plate. I've had to program this manually as there is no nav data in the A310 for Kai Tak for some reason, even though it's in the base game, so that's something that's needing to be looked at. However, I've got the manually tuned ILS frequency IGS 111.9, which is Kowloon. As you can see, hopefully we can identify that at some point. And the course there is 088 degrees. We're descending now Chung Chau VOR here, which is just flying over at 1.6 miles ahead of us. Then we're proceeding to Waypoint Golf, which is again just a little bit further ahead. And I've raised the seat by that much, so I've just changed my landing view just so I've got a little bit more of the, so that the top is not on the horizon, just a little bit below it. Hopefully that'll give me a better perspective as I'm coming into land. We're descending now to 6,000 feet, and I'm just going to pop the speed brakes back away and arm those now. Landing gear to neutral. We're going to use auto brake low for the front approach. We're just on our green dot speed there, really. So at a profile descent, using the speeds here basically. So we're a little bit low profile now, and for some reason the profile doesn't really get followed, so if you do try and do a profile descent, it basically just ignores it and descends at about 1,500 as a fixed rate. Yes. So I'm going to set flaps 1 now. It's going to bring us to 185 knots, then we're going to go from Golf to the shallow 1 NDB, which I think is still in existence. Let me check Navigraph. SL, yep, shallow 1, 268, so I'm going to set 268 on one of the NDBs, if I can do that somehow. Leave that's down here, let's just turn the torch on. 268. Transfer. There's ADF there to the right. It's the green one. Discontinuity ahead, roger, acknowledged. So we're now going to do a bit of hand flying, so I'm going to do heading is roughly to the right and descending to 4,500 feet. Level change, we'll put the autopilot back on and take the heading select. So I'm going to turn right basically to match the green needle here. The green needle is our tuned NDB shallow 1. So that's currently at 060, so I'm just going to sort of turn it around there. Probably will be 045 in the end. That's actually our intercept heading basically, so we're just going to turn towards that, so we try and keep that somewhere in the middle. And for some reason I can't actually select that anymore as a... See, oh there we go. There we go, 45. So 4,500 is our final approach altitude. Heading 045 for now, we're altitude hold now. Auto throttle. Gonna set 160. Flaps 2. Gonna arm localizer. Shallow 1 NDB is actually just a little bit to the left. And we're about to pass it on the left, I believe. Let me check that on Navigraph. Yeah, so shallow 1 is ever so slightly to the left of us there. You can see the orange needle is actually what we're talking about. That's going to ping past. And there's no point chasing it now as we're about to overfly the location. There we go, we stay heading 045 for now. 4,500 feet, I'm going to set flaps 2020. Let's go down to takeoff approach. We're going to use 240. Minimum descent, I don't know, 500 feet. Actually, I don't know what minimums are. Be somewhere, so we'll wait for that to now intercept. get a, there we go, 1119, localizers alive, land, category 2, so we can put second autopilot on as well. Holding 160 as we capture that localizer coming into Hong Kong over Kowloon. I'm just going to get the approach chart up and see what is our minimums. So the approach, yep, descending by minimum middle marker basically. Decision height is not specified, I don't think. Yeah, basically by the middle marker we should be visual. Okay, there we go, we're established now. I'm going to set the next level of flaps, that's going to be... Oh, you want me to put the landing gear down before you let me do that? Flaps level, okay, fine. I'm not going to do that just yet then. Gear down. Set the F speed down, put flaps to the next level. Yeah. Flaps are down now. Looks like the Christmas tree, landing lights there, all they're blinding. Okay, we're on a 146 knots for now. What's our final approach speed? It's saying here 134. I'm going to add 5 to that as we've got 12 knots of wind, so it's going to be 139. Yeah, we've still got quite a way to go. Now I think the Kaitak scenery does include a glide path that's maybe too shallow actually. So there's a potential that that's not quite correct, but we'll see. So we should basically go between the two arches of this bridge, so we're not making too much problem. Lights on, signs on, gear down 3 greens, flaps full, landing lights out, spoilers armed, brakes low, frequency's okay. Contact traffic, Cafe 22 Lima Heavy is on long final runway 13 IGS approach. So now we're looking for the checkerboard and we're looking for the flashing lights. Unfortunately the flashing lights don't really have a very good radius, so they will only come into visibility quite late. So we should really be seeing them already, but unfortunately we're not. I can, however, see the stanchion there, so we're aiming for that point there. And we're looking to the left for the checkerboard, which I can just about see there. So we're below, we're already quite okay for our minimums. Descent rate now is 700 feet per minute, which is about right. It's a bit towards the north, but fairly close bridge bottom there. Okay, I'm not visual with any of the lights yet because they're not flashing, because Microsoft hasn't done that properly. But hopefully they will start flashing shortly. We're visual with the runway though, so that's okay. Wind is coming 9 knots from the left. So we might want to underbank slightly so that the wind can push us around, but also at the same time not too much because we do have a problem if we do that. lights. This is way too low. Oh no, it's not. There's the lights. See them there. Yeah, so this glide path definitely brings you in far too low, as you can see by how scarily close we are to the lights. There we go, we're only just on the pappy now.
Seat brake. Seat brake. 100.
Touchdown. Versus green. Stick some more words. Idle. Yes, I think that profile needs to be changed. It needs to be a steeper descent. As that last moment there is not so pleasant at all. But I don't know what it was like in real life. Laps up. See the lights now, but you can't see them when you actually approach. What use is that? Anyway, I'm actually tempted to go back to Ali 501 scenery just for that reason. His lights actually work. Keep the landing lights on because the taxi lights are non-existent. Look at this. Great. Maybe just keep one side on. There we go. Flaps are up. Let's start up the APU. So that is up here. Master switch on. Start on. Yeah, so I think the issue is actually there is also a mod on Flight Sim 2 that basically limits the height of the auto-gen on short final, as that was all height limited when Kaitak was around, and as soon as Kaitak was no longer in use, all of those height restrictions were lifted. So then they started building upwards because that's where the space is in Hong Kong, because all the rich people own the land outside of the city, so nobody's allowed to build there, and whoever does build there, this makes it extremely expensive. That's too many ships. So yeah, despite the fact there is actually a lot of land available, none of it's actually available to anyone who wants to live there. So they build vertically, and that's made the approach path basically higher, as you can see there. So I might download that mod and see if that makes a good difference, basically, to the feeling of I'm about to crash into the ground now. Take one of my favourite stands right at the front. God, that vibrating is mental. I remember Boeings, kind of hearing the same. Let's take this down here. Parking brake set, landing light off, nose light off, strobes off, runway turn offs off, nav lights stay on, landing light off, engines 1 and 2 off, engine 2 shut down, engine 1 shut down, AP on the bus, beacon off, seatbelt signs off. There we go. Lovely landing. Long flare. Unfortunately, the flare mode with the throttle doesn't engage until you are, like I would have personally taken over a bit earlier, but it waits until you're below 30 before it starts idling. Which means if you've got a very low descent rate between 50-40, you might not get below the trigger altitude for that retarding of the throttles to begin, which is problematic, let's say. There's the jetway coming, we're getting that one today. Door 1's opening, GPU and ASU online, let's connect the external power. And we can shut off the X battery. There's a lovely livery. You can see the performance hit of the sceneries that I've got installed, because I've also got